Recording in progress.
Namaste everyone. Now the stream is on and we're all set.
Madam, everything is ready, madam.
Everything is ready. Everything is. Can we start the session?
Good afternoon, one and all. It's my privilege to introduce Mathrishri Anantalakshmi Garu. We are collaborating, learning from several content on IKS. Mathrishri is really our Mathrishri. When we go to our sessions, they will take care each and everything from the content side and beyond content also. Madam, thank you, madam, for your patience, concern, and everything. And today, Madam is going to share the thoughts regarding the humanities and social science in IKS. Madam, thank you, Madam, for your concern and continue the session, Madam.
Namaste everyone. Welcome back. I do see that there is a continuous drop in the number of people attending these sessions. I know 7 days is a difficult schedule to keep up, but I hope that you'll be able to watch it at a later point in time and also implement this in your own classroom. Let us begin with an invocation. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. So we are in day 4 of these sessions. Today, as I told you yesterday, we will focus a little bit on Darshana Shastras, and then we will move on to Ayurveda and Yoga and see how it actually helps the student community, which ultimately are the beneficiaries of whatever we are discussing today, or as part of these IKS sessions. Okay. So when we talk about philosophy or the Darshana Shastras, there are 6 Darshana Shastras primarily called the Shad Darshana. Okay. Why is it important to learn about philosophy? Mainly because it brings a very structured inquiry process. It also gives us a large understanding of the world. It roots us in our culture and heritage, and it also encourages critical thinking, personal growth, and also provides a quest for meaning of life. So we might start with some questions about our own life, but then when we take it deeper, it becomes a quest. And only philosophy can actually provide these answers to larger questions. Again, why philosophy? There are so many fundamental questions in our life. What is the nature of reality? What is the purpose of human existence? And why are we thinking like this? Why am I doing what am I doing? What is the right way to lead the life? What are right actions and what are wrong actions? And how do we actually cultivate a larger perspective of life? All this is enabled by philosophy. So, without that philosophical backing, that is why you see the highest degree which is given, whether you do it in mathematics, whether you do it in physics, or you do it in yoga, the highest degree that is offered is Doctor of Philosophy. The idea is that you will understand the philosophical underpinnings of whatever research area that you have taken up. You will arrive at a unified view of things, not just a specialized view. Not just saying that, okay, in In pedagogy, I am going to research about constructivism. In constructivism, I am going to research about one particular topic, do an experiment, and then find out whether it is valid or not. That is the study that you are doing. But then in this process, what happens is that you understand the research methodology, how your area of research is connected to other areas, how it is making an impact in one's, in the society. And sometimes in the journey of the PhD, we also wonder what is the purpose of my life, right? That is something that everybody who goes through a PhD wonders at some point in time or the other. So that way, the Doctor of Philosophy, which is the highest degree, it helps you to. The idea is that you will eventually be able to develop a unified view of many things around you, right? So that is why philosophical knowledge is needed, and that is why, in fact, even at the school level or at the college level, having one or two subjects with related to humanities and philosophy really help. Even if it's an engineering student, even if it's a medical student, there are papers on ethics, the code of conduct, professionalism, all that. That is mainly because what is the purpose? Ultimately, how do you actually reach the society? What is the larger purpose of what you're doing? All this is brought out through philosophy. Again, personal growth and self-reflection happens. It helps to shape a better society. Without that philosophical thinking, it'll all be very objective, right? It'll all be very outcome oriented. So we need a larger perspective of life. It builds lifelong learning and curiosity. So when we talk about the philosophical systems of India, there are 6 philosophical systems which are based on the Vedas. Okay? Some of the common aspects, all of them discuss about the Atman, or all of them talk about karma. They talk about moksha. Moksha means liberation. Some could talk about mukti. Some could talk about kaivalya. Some will talk about moksha. The terminology used in each philosophical system is different. Or they could just talk about removal of suffering in one's life. All of this ultimately leads to that liberation. Right? The 6 philosophical systems, if you see, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya Yoga, Vedanta, and Mimamsa. Before we go into the uh, philosophical systems, what each stands for, mainly the idea of philosophy is that epistemology. All of you would have come across this term in your own research as epistemology. Epistemology means what is the source about that knowledge. Okay? What is the source of knowledge? So here in the Darshana Shastras, we call that source of knowledge as pramana. This is a very important thing, because now if you see even at the school level, in certain boards like say ICSE, right? So they have brought out this subject called theory of knowledge. These are very interesting books. You can go through this book, by I think they have it has been brought out by one of the publishers, I think Oxford or somebody. The theory of knowledge. It talks about world in the modern philosophical context. What are the valid sources of knowledge? But though the theory of knowledge, all that is there, but it always presents a Western view of the theory of knowledge. So let us look at the Indic view of the theory of knowledge, or where are the sources of learning. This is very useful, because when you impart knowledge, or when you yourself learn, you need to understand what all ways or what are the various sources from which you imbibe your knowledge, right? So, what are some of the ways by which you, if you can share some, what are various sources of knowledge? If you can share, we can take it from there. Please unmute yourself and then share.
By perception, madam. By perception.
By perception. Very
inference.
Good. Inference. In a very simple term, what are the sources of knowledge for us?
The texts, the architectural monuments, and
Monuments.
then the Puranas and Itihasas, the documentaries,
Yes.
all those things.
Documented evidence.
The Shasanas which kings have written during their time. And all those things would serve as, the sources of knowledge.
Correct. And when you are doing an experiment, right? When, for example, you are into empirical studies or experimental studies, how do you know something?
Because it would be documented, right? It would be documented, and then you would, the time and the area and the sources, all that would be mentioned in that particular shasanas, right? So you can take it as a pramana, right?
Pramana. Very true. So here, if you see in our Darshana Shastras, put together, there are different sources of knowledge. This is a very important concept. Any session, any topic on IKS will actually start with the Darshana Shastras and the Pramana. Okay? So here, if you see, there are different sources of knowledge. Pratyaksha, direct cognition, okay, where you perceive through the senses. I see a rose and I perceive it to be, I know that it's a rose. So directly I'm seeing it. I smell a rose and I'm able to perceive the smell. I say it's a rose. Again, that is sorry. I perceive a rose, right? And then I'm able to say that it's a rose. The other source of knowledge is inference. I see smoke on the mountain and then I infer that there is fire over there because I know that wherever there is smoke, there would be fire over there, right? Suppose I see smoke coming out of the kitchen, I know that there is some fire or some cooking happening over there. Suppose I see there is, say, a type of fever, I infer that say there is probably some digestion or some infection that is happening. Suppose I see some yellowness in the tongue, then I infer that maybe pitta has increased for the person. So in fact, based on certain symptoms, you won't be able to directly perceive something, but through another thing, you perceive what has happened, right? Or you infer what has happened. So that is called anumana or inference. So that is also one other source of knowledge. Upamana or analogy or comparison. You take two things and say this is dark red, this is light red, right? Or you take something, this is fast, this is slow, this is hot, this is cold. So you make your studies based on comparative. For example, you take up a yoga technique and then you design an experiment. 10 people who do yoga, 10 people who don't do yoga. You compare these two and understand that people who do yoga are more, say, productive, something like that. You come up with an answer. So you're doing a comparative study over there. That is also a way of knowing. That is also a source of knowledge. The other source of knowledge is agama, which is the testimony of a reliable person. Okay. So there are, for example, books, as I was sharing, books are agama. Any research, for example, the knowledge of an expert. You might not have tested it, but the expert has tested it out and telling you or written in a book or written in a research paper. You trust that person and hence you trust that source of knowledge, right? Most of the learning happens in Agama style, right up to the, say, for example, up to 10th standard. We keep studying the books, very little experimental work is there. Very little of it we actually have Pratyaksha Jnana. That is also one of the problems with the current education system, where until 10th standard you don't get access to any lab or any practical learning. It is always bookish knowledge that you develop, and there is no way to practically test it out. Okay, E is equal to MC square, you can't test, agreed. But aren't there other small things which you can observe? But we are never given the opportunity to go around, pick the flowers that are discussed in the book or pick the leaves that are discussed in the book, right? So many things are not available. Only the agamic knowledge are available. Arthapatti, which is postulation. It refers to the process of making logical assumptions to understand something when the obvious answer is not clear. Okay. So here, for example, this is a very Shastri example that is always given in all the text. So if there is a person who says that I don't eat during the day, but the person is going on gaining weight. So you assume that the person is even than 9. Okay. So that is the example that is always given in classical text. That is called Arthapatti, which is postulation. Anupalabdhi, oh, sorry, this sentence is not right. Just a minute. Just Anupalabdhi is it is actually knowing when something isn't available. Okay. So when something isn't available, you know through the absence of that. For example, today I'm saying strength is less, right? Because a few people are absent, I'm knowing that the strength is less, so many people are absent. I am cognizing their absence, right? So that means anupalabdhi. Upalabdhi means available. Anupalabdhi is not available. Okay. Through something's unavailability, you know that particular thing. Okay. So these are different sources of. So what are the various Darshana Shastras? Nyaya. Nyaya.
Oh, 24.
Here, if you see, Nyaya is by sage Gautama. It focuses on logic, reasoning, epistemology, and the pramanas are perception, inference, comparison, and verbal testimony, which includes pratyaksha, anumana, agama, and shabda pramana or agama. Pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, and agama. And here the system of debate is very prominent. Why? Because suppose you have a misunderstanding about something, through the process of debating, the other person convinces you as to what is the truth. So in your mind, what happens is that untruth is removed and truth comes to you. Then you have a clear understanding of what reality is, right? You have a clear picture of the truth. So that is why the process of debating is in order to remove the confusion, in order to remove the doubt, in order to remove the falsehood from your mind. This process of debating is yoga, Rishi Patanjali, practical aspects related to spiritual liberation, asana, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi are discussed. And the union of the Jivatma with the Paramatma is also discussed. Yoga Sutra is a prominent text. Vaisheshika, Sage Kanada, focuses on Padarthas. For example, if you take a Dravya, it has Guna and Karma. Any object you take. For example, if I take this water bottle, it has a Guna and it has a function, right? So this is what the Vaisheshika, like a physics and biology, it maps the entire reality into classes and categories. Okay, Vaisheshika Sutras is an important text. For example, let's take a mango. This is not a textual example. This is a very, just I'm taking for the sake of this class. If you take a mango, what are the various qualities of a mango? Its color is yellow, its taste is sweet or sour maybe. It has a big seed. All these are qualities. And what is the function of a mango? It quenches the thirst, it increases the body heat, right? And what is the general category of a mango? It is a fruit. And what is the specific category of a mango? It's a particular variety of mango, right? So Samanya and Vishesha Gunas are mapped in Vaisheshika. Sankhya by sage Kapila Muni, and it's a dualistic having the Purusha and Prakriti. It talks about 25 tattvas, and it understands the idea of Sankhya is that through the intellectual process, by gaining jnana, the dukkha in your life is removed. Sankhya Karika of Ishvara Krishna is the famous text. Purva Mimamsa, Jainini, and it talks about a lot about the Vedic rituals. To it, for Mimamsa, the Vedas are the highest. Vedas are flawless and have to be followed to the letter. The Mimamsa Sutras are the core text. And then you have one more darshana, got missed out. Sorry, here it is. Vedanta. Vedanta is Veda Vyasa. Brahma Sutras are the text. Multiple contributors to Vedanta: Adi Shankaracharya, Advaita; Ramanujacharya, Vishishtadvaita; and Madhvacharya, Dvaita. And it focuses on teachings of Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutras. And it also explores the idea of the Atman, the Brahman, and the relationship between the Atman and or the Jivatma and Paramatma. So you have the Upanishads, you have the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutra. These three texts put together are called the Prasthana Trayi. Okay, Prasthana Trayi. These are the main texts. So if there is a new sampradaya that is created or a new viewpoint that is created, the acharyas of that sampradaya write commentaries on these three texts. That is why you will find commentaries of Adi Shankaracharya of Upanishads. You will find the Ramanujacharya's commentary, Madhvacharya's commentary. Like that, each sampradaya creates their own commentary according to their viewpoint of that particular or reality, right? So Vedanta talks about Veda Anta. It is the end portion of the Vedas, and it is to do with the Upanishads, mainly the Upanishads. Each many Upanishads that we talk about: Taittiriya Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Keno Upanishad, Prashno Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad. All these are part of one Veda or the other. So this is to do with Vedanta. So any questions so far? We will go to the next topic, which is Ayurveda. The Vedas I mentioned, but I will probably share it as a slide. Sir, you're on mute, sir.
Madam Adi Shankaracharya discussed about the Upanishads regarding it is about 11 only, and some other rishis are telling about it is 108. Some other rishis are telling about 1000 Upanishads. What is the difference between these three things?
Actually, the thing is that there are only a few Upanishads which are part of the Vedas. Okay. But then there are so many other Upanishads which may not be part, but might have been written by rishis like Yoga Upanishad, Garbha Upanishad, and all that. A lot of Yoga Upanishads as well. It may not be part of the Vedas, but could have been handed down through rishis of various renowned traditions. So we'll go to Ayurveda. So why Ayurveda is needed is we will also be looking at, as part of this session, some very important classroom strategies which are based on Ayurveda, right? So you have, when you look at Ayurveda, it presents a very holistic approach to healthcare. It balances the mind, body, and the spirit for overall wellness. It's a personalized approach to cater to individual uniqueness, integrates diet, lifestyle, herbal medicine, massage, meditation. All these are part of Ayurveda. And it's gaining popularity because of its natural ways of living, natural ways of, getting most of the materials for medicine in a natural way. and its holistic methods. So world over, if you see, even in the COVID times and all that, there were so many people who had actually taken to Ayurveda. So Ayurveda that way is gaining a global standards, standing. And it's an ancient system of medicine over 5,000 years old, focuses on the balance of the body and spirit. And as I told you, it's rooted in Vedic culture. It's a Upaveda. It uses diet, lifestyle, herbal remedies, and focuses on the balance of the body, mind, and the spirit. So here, if you see, the ultimate aim of Ayurveda, if you look at the Ayurvedic text, it also speaks about the Purushartha. Why do we need Ayurveda? Because if you need to lead a life of the Purushartha, Ayurveda is required. If you need to lead a healthy life to the end of your lifespan, then Ayurveda is needed, right? So balancing wealth with environmental responsibility, balancing pleasure with knowledge and relationships, all these are part of Purushartha, and that helps us to achieve a balance. A happy life balances responsibility, prosperity, pleasure, and liberation. So Ayurveda and Purushartha. If you look at the verse that is taken from the Ashtanga Hridaya, it says, Ayu Kamayamanena Dharmartha Sukha Sadhanam Ayurvedopadesheshu Vidheya Paramadaraha. Okay? So here the first line, it talks about Ayu Kamayamanena Dharma Artha Sukha Sadhanam. So here it says, in order to lead a life or achieve the Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, a healthy and long life is essential. So Ayurveda helps us to lead that life that is healthy and thereby assist us to lead a life of the Purusha. Okay. What does Charaka Samhita say about Ayurveda or good health according to Ayurveda? Charaka Samhita says, Samadosha Samagrischa Samadhatu Malakriyah Prasannatmendriya Manaha Swastha Ityabhidhiyate. Samadosha Samagrischa. Say Samadosha means all the doshas in the body should be balanced. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha should be balanced in order to lead a healthy life. When this balance is disturbed, either because of aggravation or depletion, it leads to dosha vaishamya, which is also known as the state of disease. So in the modern context, when do we say it is disease? When do we say we have a disease? Either we say we have indigestion, when we get a fever, organs are not working and all that, right? So similarly, much more than that, much more holistically, it says the doshas should be in balance. Not only that, the sama agri should be there. The agris of the various organs should be maintained. Okay, the digestive fire, Jathara Agni or Koshtagni, the enzymes Dhatu Agni must all be maintained in a proper condition in order to maintain a good health, right? And Samadhatu Malakriyaha, the dhatus should work properly. That is, all the organs and tissues should work properly. And the mala should be removed properly. Okay? So the malas means, for example, sweat should be removed properly. The phlegm should be removed properly. The excreta should be removed from the body properly. So it means that all the organs should work properly. The mala should also be removed. Prasanna, the Atman, the Indriyas, the mind, and the various senses, the cognitive faculties should all have a pleasant feeling. So that is known as swastha, or that is known as good health according to Ayurveda. So samadoshaha, so the dosha should be in balance. Sama agni, the agni should be, balanced. Dhatu, the dhatus, the organs should work properly. Mala, the waste should be removed properly. Then the atman, the indriyas, the manas, everything should be happy and pleasant. So that is called good health according to Ayurveda. It's a very holistic definition of good health. And what is the definition according to Ashtanga Hridaya? Right? It says Vayu Pittam Kafascheti Trayodoshaha Samasataha Vikrita Vikrita Deham Grantite Vartayati cha. Okay. Vayu Pittam Kapha. There are three doshas which are Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Trayodoshaha Samasataha. In summary, Vikrita, Avikrita. Vikrita means disturbed. Avikrita means undisturbed. Just give me a moment. I'm having a kapha dosha imbalance, as you can see. So it's taking me some time. So here, if you see Vata, Pitta, Kapha, the three doshas should be in balance. And Vikrita means disturbed. Avikrita means undisturbed. Ghanati means destroy. Artayanti means nourish. When it is disturbed, then there is a destruction of that health. Means it is ill health. When it is avikrita, when it is undisturbed, artayanti, the body is nourished. So the balance of the dosha leads to good health. The imbalance of the doshas leads to diseases according to Ayurveda. So the daily and seasonal routines help to maintain the dosha and promote good health. Ayurvedic perspective on a healthy life. So as I told you, health is the balance of the three doshas, Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Harmony in the digestion, metabolism and proper functioning of the body tissues. The mind should be fulfilled, content, balanced. The senses should be functioning properly. And there is a lot of opportunities for prevention and wellness through daily routines. So ultimately, it is the balance of the three doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. What are the doshas? Let us go a little bit into the detail. So we have something called the Panch Mahabhuta, which we will look at shortly. The Bhuta together to form the doshas in the body. We call this entire universe as Prapancha because it is governed by the five elements or the five bhutas, right? Prapancha. It is governed by the Pancha Bhutas. That is why we call this universe as Prapancha. And these, whether it is our human body, or whether it is a rock, or whether it is an elephant's body, or whether it's an ant's body, whether it is a tree, everything is a combination of the Panchabhuta in some proportion or the other. So when we look at this Vata dosha, it governs movement, breath, and circulation. Okay. So for example, I'm able to move my hands and speak and hold the breath and all that, and blood is circulating through my system. All this is because of Vata dosha. The Pitta is managing the metabolic activity, digestion, and body temperature. Kapha controls the growth, structure, and lubrication. Right? Growth means my body grows because of Kapha. Let's take an example. Suppose you have, a powder. How do you make it into a laddu? So you add some water to it or ghee to it or some oil to it, right? So the moment you add some liquidy substance to powder, you can make it into a solid thing, right? So similarly, the body is a combination of the liquid element and solid element, which gives shape to the body. That grows because of the presence of kapha. The principle of growth is called kapha. So importance, diet should be in alignment with the dosha type. It should be fresh, seasonal, and natural foods are recommended. And avoidance of processed and artificial food is recommended. Use of spice and herbs for digestion and health. And eating mindfully at regular intervals. And dinacharya. It emphasizes. So here, if you see, these are the important concepts of Ayurveda. One is dosha. The other one is food. The other one is dinacharya. Dinacharya concept of Ayurveda emphasizes a daily routine, early rising, meditation, vyayama, proper hygiene and self-care practices, having an appropriate meal at appropriate time. It is only after the digestion of the meal you have the next. And restful sleep and nighttime routine. All these are of Dinacharya. Ritucharya, according to the seasons, even you would see that even our own festivals, right? We celebrate in various seasons, and the food that is done as Naivedyam for that particular festival depends on the season, right? Whatever is available that season, that is what we offer it to God as well, right? So, for example, harvest season, rice is harvested, so we offer that to Surya Bhagavan as part of the Makara Shankar, right? And then that is what we consume at that time. So specific dietary and lifestyle adjustments are done for each season. An importance of detoxification during the seasonal transitions. So as we move from one season to another, there is also a detoxification routine that is there. And there are a lot of practices to balance doshas according to the season, through the food, through the exercises, through other Ayurvedic karma or practices. We can balance the doshas in various seasons. And it enhances immunity and vitality. The Ritucharya, which is seasonal routine. So Dinacharya is a daily routine. Ritucharya is a seasonal routine. And as part of the Dinacharya as well, a lot of things are discussed about the mental health aspects. So importance of a calm and content mind. There are a lot of practices for stress reduction, mental clarity, pranayama, yoga, having a positive emotional balance, having appropriate relationships and community building activities, avoiding overexertion with respect to something, because sometimes what happens is that even this is a very important aspect, even you, especially when you're taking care of children, we have to be mindful that we don't overexert their activity. Then this leads to prana depletion, and then overall the child feels very tired on a day-to-day basis, right? So that's why even for us, overexertion should be avoided. And integration of physical activity into daily routine. That is why we looked at the Panchakosha model, where there is something for the physical, emotional, vital, cognitive, and the happiness dimension. So this physical activity leads to good mental health. I will also talk about herbal remedies, use of medical herbs for prevention and treatment. Common Ayurvedic herbs, turmeric, ashwagandha, triphala, and personalized herbal formulations, proper is about herbs, integration of herbal treatments with diets and lifestyle practices. All these are part of Ayurveda, right? So when we look at a little bit of history of Ayurveda here, it's difficult to place Sushruta, but some say it is 600 BC, some say it is 1000 BC. But Sushruta Samhita is an important text of Ayurveda. So there are three main contributors to Ayurveda: Sushruta, Charaka, and Bhagavata. Okay? So during the time of Sushruta, all the 8 branches of Ayurveda, uh, you know, including say pediatrics, geriatrics, general medicine, toxicology, and all that. This Shalya Tantra, which is the aspects of surgery, were given a lot of importance. And the Vodasa belonged to a royal family. There was the need of treating the soldiers during the war, and that is when they started to explore this aspect of this dissection and treating the wounds through Jari. So in Shushruta Sarira, it is mentioned that dissection of the dead body was conducted at first by Acharya Shushruta. It was stated that every medical student should also conduct dissection of the dead body. So in the 1700s, what happened was a Maratha cart driver, right? He had served under the British. He was captured by Tipu Sultan, and the soldiers were also captured by Tipu Sultan. And then after their noses were cut off as a punishment for serving the enemy, they were sent back to the English command. After some days, when dealing with an Indian merchant, the English commanding officer noticed that he had a peculiar nose and a triangular scar on his forehead. So, on inquiry, he learned that the merchant's nose had been cut off as a punishment for adultery, and that he had a substitute nose made by a Maratha Vaidya who belonged to the potter caste or community. Right? The commanding officer sent for the Vaidya and asked him to reconstruct the nose of the soldiers. And that is when this whole thing. So when we say father of surgery, it is truly Sushruta. So Charaka Samhita enjoys a lot of prominence in Ayurvedic literature. There is a website dedicated the full Charaka Samhita verses with the meanings are available. And Charaka is also the word means somebody who moves from Chara, one who moves from place to place offering medical service. Charaka Samhita and Sushruta Samhita and Ashtanga Hridayam are recognized as Brihatrayi or the big trio books. And Ashtanga Hridayam is by Bhagpatta, who established the Ashtavedya families to preserve and propagate Ayurveda. So this is a brief history of Ayurveda. So before we move into the next topic of Panchabhuta, I want to just have a discussion on your understanding of the Panchabhuta and what all we notice in reality.
అలానే పంపించాం కదా పనులన్నీ.
So what are the Panchabhuta and how do we see them in reality around us, in our own body? How do we see the Panchabhuta? Some of you can share. What are the Panchabhuta and how can you see them in your own body and reality around us? You're on mute, sir. Okay, just a minute. I need to unmute. Yes, sir.
The earth, the sky, air, water, fire. These are the 5 Panchabhutas. Madam.
Yes, sir. And how do we see them in reality?
Through experience. We can breathe the air.
Breathing
One of
the air. The air we
We are
breathe is
being on the earth. We are drinking
living
the
on
water.
the earth.
We know the
Yes, drinking
power
water.
of the water.
Correct.
We can see the sky. We can
Sky.
touch the fire.
Yes. Very good, sir. What else? Anybody else wants to share? Apart from these, how do you see the Panchabhuta in our own body and manifestations? What are the various manifestations of each Bhuta?
In our human body, majority of the percentage is water only.
Water. Very good, sir. So
Like
when we
21%.
say bhuta, it is also a tattva, it's a principle, right? So when we say jala, it is not just water that we drink, but any liquid that is there. Even blood. So anything, even oil or honey is jala tattva. Because it flows, it is jala tattva. When we say prithvi, it is not just to do with mud or soil, it is also to do with anything solid, right? So when we say the physical structure of the body, it is also prithvi. Anything, this water bottle, because it's so solid, it's prithvi tattva, right? And whatever is there inside the bottle is jala tattva. And as you said, the air that we breathe, whatever moves a tree, all this is vayu. The movement of energy within the system, all this is vayu. And of course, the other tattvas, fire, even the Jatara Agni, the Agni that helps us to transform the food into energy, which digests the food, that is also Agni, right? So like this, there are various manifestations, right, of the Panchabhuta in our own body, in the reality around us. The Panchabhuta, or the five great elements, is a foundational concept. These elements include our Swapna, you have a question. Sorry, Swapna ji, you have a question. You raise your hand. Okay. So here, if you see, these elements are Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, and Prithvi. They are believed to be the basis of creation. And the smallest particle to the celestial body is made up of these elements, right? So Ayurveda incorporates the concept of Panchabhuta to promote health and well-being. According to Ayurveda, again, the balance of these bhutas within the body is crucial for maintaining good health. Each element contributes to specific qualities that influence bodily functions. Ayurvedic practices, lifestyle, diet, treatments are all designed to restore the balance of these bhutas. And Prithvi. Okay. Just take a minute to look at the slide and then I will explain. Gomati ji has beautifully mentioned in the chat box. It's a very detailed view of the bhutas. So here, if you look at Prithvi, the characteristics of Prithvi are solid, stable, and supportive. It is very heavy and dense. Okay, it is hard, stable, and gross. So it is very tangible. In the functions of the body, it represents the physical structures of the body, including the bones, muscles, and tissues. It provides stability, support, and endurance to the body.
Madam, once unmute, please.
Somebody muted me. So here, if you see, the functions of the body represent the physical structure of the body, bones, muscles, and tissues. It provides stability and support to the entire system. The associated dosha is Kapha dosha. Jala Tattva or Jala Panchabhuta is fluid, it can flow, and it is also binding. The moment you add it with Prithvi, if you can bind things. Its qualities are liquid, cool, soft, smooth, and its moisture. That is Jala Tattva. All the bodily fluids such as blood, lymph, the digestive fluids, everything is Jala Tattva because it is flowing. And it is essential for hydration, nourishment, and cohesion. Even the skin quality is maintained by Jala Tattva. Associated dosha again is Kapha dosha, when Pitta dosha is associated with this. Agni, it is hot, sharp, and transformative. As I told you, the food that you eat, is transformed into energy. Whatever you put in the yajna is transformed into, the dana for the, or the offerings for the divine. That's why we offer everything into the Agni, because it digests and offers it. So there is a story in the Mahabharata where there was a yajna, and because so much ghee was poured into the yajna, that the Agni Devata himself lost the digestive capability. And then what happened was, the the Pandavas were allocated the Khandavavana. So the Khandavavana was full of bushes and shrubs and herbs. So Agni was advised that you burn the Khandavavana. Anyway, that has to be cleared up. You burn it. There are a lot of herbs and shrubs there. Once you eat it, your digestive power will be restored. So he burnt the Khandavavana, and then his digestive power was restored. So when we eat too many sweets, this is what happens. Our Agni comes down. Then we get fever, indigestion, vomiting, and many such symptoms, right? So the functions, it governs digestion, metabolism, and the energy production. So it is responsible for vision, and body temperature regulation, and transformation of the food into energy. Associated dosha is pitta dosha. Right? And vayu, it is it is very dry, it is light, and it's mobile. It can move, right? And it is also rough that way. So dryness basically. It controls the various movements of the body, the nerve impulses, the breath, and it is essential for circulation, transportation of nutrients throughout the body, and the elimination of waste. All this is taken care by the Panchabhuta Vayu. The associated dosha is Vata dosha. Okay. Akasha, it is vast, subtle, and all pervading. It is very light and expansive. It provides space for all the bodily functions and processes. It is associated with the various cavities in the body, such as the mouth. This is the cavity, right? The nostrils, this is a cavity. There is nothing over here. The thorax and abdomen, all these are spaces in the body, which represents Akasha Tattva. Vata dosha is associated with Akasha. So in Ayurveda, how these Panchabhutas combine? Akasha and Vayu combine to form Vata dosha. Agni and Jala Tattva, Pitta dosha. Prithvi and Jala Tattva, Kapha dosha. These doshas govern all the physiological and psychological processes in the body. Balance of these doshas is essential for good health. So as I told you, it's important to understand how these doshas come together. I mean, how the bhutas come together to form the doshas. Okay. So if we understand the doshas further, what is meant by a dosha? Dosha is not the dosa that we eat, that is dosa. This is dosha. Okay. Dosha is a fault or impurity or mistake, right? That is the literal meaning of it. But it also means that something that can go out of balance in the system. So when there is an external impact or some internal impact, it will go out of balance. So that is why it is called a dosha. So out of balance corrupts the body dhatus, and that becomes a dosha. Hence, dosha is that which becomes vitiated and affects the bodily tissues, leading to disease. Dosha means three principles that governs the psychophysiological response and pathological changes. Again, these are energy complexes that attributes called gunas and karma. Okay, they can be looked at in different ways. So as I told you, these are Panchabhutas. The Akasha and Vayu combine to form Vata. The Jala and Agni combine to form Pitta. The Kapha and Prithvi, the Jala and Prithvi combine to form the Kapha dosha. Okay. I'll give you a minute to take a look at this diagram so that you internalize this view. Again, I'm repeating this. Pitta is equal to air, Pitta is equal to Fire, that is Agni and Jala. Vata is Akasha and Vayu. Kapha is Jala and Prithvi. So what are the factors that impact the doshas? If some of you can share, what could be some factors that affect the doshas? Please unmute and answer. What are some of the factors that affect the doshas? Yes, diet plays a very important role. Yeah, because of the seasons also the doshas get affected. Yes, ma'am. Temperature. Yes, ma'am. Very good. Correct. Yes. Sleeping habits. Yes, ma'am. Correct. Some habits like that. Yeah. Even emotional stress can also cause imbalance of the doshas.
Yeah, wrong combinations.
Yes, ma'am. Psychological state. Correct. Correct. So, uh, correct. Correct. What dosha get affected when we get stressed out? Right? But most likely it is pitta because we get nervous and then we have this feeling of, they say, pet mein choohe daud rahe kind of feeling. Some acidic feeling we get in our stomach. So that is basically pitta dosha. Swapna ji was telling something.
Swapna Garu, kindly unmute and speak, please. Swapna Garu.
She started to speak, but then suddenly, sir. Okay, no problem. So here, factors affecting the dosha, if you see, the mental state, as ma'am was sharing very accurately, anxiety, anger, and other emotional issues can actually cause a lot of stress. Chronic stress levels or lack of relaxation, even age, childhood, adulthood, and old age, different doshas can get imbalanced. Hormonal and physiological changes can
Good
affect.
afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, so
Yeah, I'm sorry. Actually, when I tried to unmute, I couldn't. There had some technical issue. I just wanted to say that, one thing is wrong combinations of food. Like few people have wrong food habits, like eating spicy food along with the tea. They prefer to eat as snacks. Few people although few people might know it, knowingly they may not have their resistance to stop or avoid that eating, and few people unknowingly they have this kind of eating. The wrong combination of food will cause this doshas. And the second thing is, a few of them have already highlighted environmental factors. I would like to say it as a toxic environment also. Even it may be in our relation or maybe in the work area. One must know how to handle it. This also may cause stress and anxiety. So, not knowing how to handle it, and sometimes it may be so toxic that we cannot handle at that particular time. We have to prefer to move out.
Moved. Yes.
Which may cause nervousness and cause to doshas. That's what
Right.
I wanted to say. Thank you.
It's a lot of stress. Toxic environments, one is severely toxic, even mildly toxic environments where there is a lot of pressure on to perform, on say learners, for example. There's a lot of pressure. Like, for example, I've seen a lot of children go to coaching classes. Practically their 11th or 9th standard to 12th standard is taken by coaching classes. So there it is like I've heard in some coaching classes where they are asked to look at the wall and then just study without any other social interaction. So all these kind of things can put a lot of pressure on children, and that definitely causes a lot of imbalance with respect to their health, right? So then even genetics can cause some prakriti related issues. Prakriti is predisposition of the doshas. Some medical history can create, or even other induce, for example, COVID. uh, None of us are prepared to handle that COVID. But then it was there in the environment. All of us went through one round or one or multiple rounds of COVID, right? So that is also there. So it could be Adi Bhautika, which is caused by social forces, could be other bhutas like the COVID, or it could be Adi Daivika, whatever karmic, because of something that we did in the past or something which we are destined to go through, that also can cause diseases, or Adhyatmik because of something that we did also we can contract diseases, right? So there are multiple factors that imbalance the doshas. So let us look at some of the doshas in detail, and we will come to designing some important strategies for learning. So Vata dosha is associated with movement. The qualities are lightness, dryness, coldness, and roughness. It governs the breathing, circulation, elimination, nerve impulses, thoughts, emotions, and sensory experiences. Pitta dosha is associated with heat, sharpness, and intensity. It affects, it is impacting digestion, metabolism, understanding, and intelligence. So people, even you need intelligence, you need Pitta dosha. Kapha dosha, it's associated with structure and stability, coolness, softness, stability, support, love, forgiveness, compassion. All these are governed by Kapha dosha. Okay. So here, if you see, the doshas in general are impact the entire body, but there are very specific sites also, right? So below the navel region is Vata region. In between, the middle part is actually the Pitta region, and the upper part is the Kapha region. Why? You can easily map it. Below Vata means, for example, Pitta dosha, right? Pitta dosha means you get acidity, you get this burning sensation in the stomach. All this happens in the middle region. Kapha dosha, you have a cold, you have a cough, you have chest congestion. All this happens in the upper side. You have limb pain, joint pain, and all that happens in the below region. So Vata dosha gets imbalanced in the below region. Pitta dosha imbalance gets manifested in the middle region, and Kapha dosha in the upper region. Okay. So these are some questions we ask young people or children, right? When we talk about doshas, have you observed that your nose is blocked when you wake up in the morning, but then in the day it becomes all right? Grandparents have aches and pains in the joint and limbs. Younger sibling frequently catches a cold. So this shows that doshas vary with age, the time of the day, and also depend on the diet. So here if you see, Kapha dosha is predominant in childhood. Pitta dosha dominates the youth stage, and Vata dosha dominates the old age. Skin becomes dry, wrinkles are there, joint pain is there, reduced mobility, and even reduced volume of the voice, right? That is all observed during old age. That is because Vata becomes very depleted towards the end of the doshas in from the time of the day, the first part of the day and first part of the it is kapha. Middle part of the day and middle part of the night is pitta. The third part of the day and third part of the night is vata. Okay? So here, if you see in the morning, that's why many people first part of the day kapha they start to sneeze as soon as people wake up. Many people start to sneeze because kapha dosha there is a high possibility of imbalance in the morning. And, in the beginning, in the first part of the night also. Pitta assistant digestion. That is why we have food when the pitta is high, so that the food can digest properly. And in the evening, vata is high. That is why you can play, you can go out and all of that, right? So you can have some movement in the evening. Digestion. So when you, for example, when you see the food, right, the way gulab jamun, or the moment I say some halwa, right, you start to salivate, right? So that is an indication of kapha. Sweet saliva is secreted, which is kapha. So the moment you put the food in the mouth, you chew it, the digestion starts at that stage. That is kapha. After you eat the food has to be digested, right? So that is pitta. And the third part of the digestion, where elimination of waste happens and the food that you eat is transformed into energy. The energy circulates throughout the body, that is vata. Okay. So you have the kapha, pitta, and vata, the different stages of digestion itself. So just to summarize this, Vayohoratri Tenta Madhyadiga Kramat. So in that order, Vayas, age, Ahar Ratri, Ahoratri, day and night. Bhuktanam means it is to do with the digestion, right? Anta, Madhya, Adi. So here, in the end of the day, it is Vata. Middle of the day, it is Pitta. Beginning of the day, it is Kapha. In that order, right? So here, if you see, top part is Kapha, middle is Pitta, bottom is Vata. Beginning of the day is Kapha, middle of the day is Pitta, end of the day is Kapha. Sorry, Vata. And beginning of the age, right? It is Kapha, middle age is Pitta, end of the age or old age is Vata. So like that, you can remember it's like a table. Okay, just one verse in Ayurveda. This is the beauty of Indian knowledge system. Everything is codified as a poem, as a something that you can chant. Okay. You just have to remember by heart this one line, and you will know when it will be kapha, when it will be pitta, and when it will be vata, and then you can observe it in your own system, right? So here, if you see, can you name one food item and then how it impacts the doshas? Through your own understanding, you can also look at the slide, but based on your own understanding, please share. Then we will continue. Can you share in each of these tastes, rasa, madhura, amla, lavana, katu, kashaya, tikta, any food and what dosha have you experienced to be changing?
kindly unmute and share, please. If anybody is unable to unmute, kindly raise your hand digitally. So we'll give the option. Already, I think we may give an option to unmute for everyone.
High eating of pulses, overeating with wrong combination, overeating of pulses with wrong combination may lead to vata dosha.
Very, very true, ma'am. Correct.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Madam, Madhura
And
and
kapha
when
dosha.
they use it, it will increase the kapha, madam.
Kapha. Very good.
Generally.
Yeah.
Oils, excess oils, and unpured fat, means impure fat, sorry, not impure fat, which we take in our cooking process may lead to kapha dosha. Having too many sweets
Yes.
gives kapha.
Krishnavedi ma'am, what do you see?
Having too many sweets gives kapha dosha.
Too many sweets increases kapha.
Yes.
When you have too much pepper, then it is katu, right? Then it increases the pitta dosha. It is karam, it increases pitta dosha. When you eat too much bitter like neem, too many bitter things, or even including say raw banana, it is tikta, which is not banana, but bitter things. It increases vata. Again, kashaya, again as astringent like raw banana, it increases vata. It builds gas. If you eat too much salt, it increases pitta. That is why it increases our blood pressure. If you eat too much sour also, it can imbalance pitta, also kapha. That's why for some people, if you drink lemon juice, immediately you catch a cold, right? Madhura, of course, it increases kapha, right? So through the simple frameworks, we can. So before we go into the next slide, I really want to have some interaction here as to how you will use this Ayurvedic framework, say, of Prakriti, the doshas, and maybe a little bit of rasa in designing learning strategies and pedagogical tools in the classroom. As educators, I really want to hear from you because you have all been studying over so many pedagogical strategies, approaches, and classroom things and all that activities. So please tell me how this framework can be used. Let me do something. I will just create breakout rooms maybe, and then I will assign some breakout rooms. In that breakout room, I'll give you about 10 minutes to discuss this and come back. That might be a helpful strategy, I feel. Okay, let's do this. So there are 60 people, close to 60 people. I create breakout. Please join the breakout rooms.
Swapna
How
madam,
to
the question.
how to introduce the student? How to introduce students about Vata, Pitta, Kapha? How to implement in education?
Okay.
How to implement to students about Ayurveda?
Usually by giving general examples, we can
General
start.
exam. Yeah.
Yeah. First, we have to, even if it is
Characteristics of
small
Kapha.
children. Yeah. Yeah, and we can introduce about their diet. First of all, we have to ask many questions, motivate about their diet.
Yeah.
Then previous experiences about the illness and family illness background also we can inquire, and then we have to enter into the benefits by knowing how can you avoid getting into those problems, so that the child will know the importance of learning that, then we can introduce it, I believe.
And also when the students ill, which food they eat?
Yeah.
That
What
also.
they might have eaten, what caused that illness.
Yes.
That in that way we can make the child how it is beneficial, knowing about the
Swapna
And
madam.
Ayurveda.
also, first of all,
Swapna
we
madam.
introduce the all medicine trees, medicine
Hello,
leaves.
Swapna madam.
Sir, tell me, sir. Tell me, sir.
Please, whatever the reflections are discussed by the participant, within this group, you please
Yeah.
write down whenever the madam is asking, you will tell the all group 4 reflections.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'll write
Okay, please.
right now. Okay, thank you, sir.
Now you will share, madam. Mayuri, madam.
Okay.
Shall I write in the chat?
Okay.
It's better we write in the
No,
chat,
madam.
no?
They are asking group wise. Then
Okay.
only one of you will represent the group 4.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. Sure.
Yes, please.
Definitely.
First,
I'll write.
we introduce the students about our Ayurveda.
Exactly.
What is Ayurveda? And also Ayurvedic trees.
We can also say about the herbs in the kitchen.
Yes.
Like coriander, curry leaf. Most
First, we
children do not
introduce
know
that
that.
one popula pette.
Yeah, most children do not know that it is our kitchen has many Ayurvedic ingredients which have many medicinal benefits.
Yes.
That way we can introduce.
Correct.
Any more? Please, you can share.
We have to change our daily activities, like we need to wake up early in the morning and go to bed early. We have to maintain the sattvic food. We need to eat sattvic food.
Meditation, all.
Yoga and meditation. If possible, chanting some sutras or something like that.
And also, this Trifala Churnam is very important in Ayurveda. Trifala Churnam.
Yes.
Also, like seasonal fruits like amla and daily used methi. Amla, importance of amla in preparation of Ayurvedic medicines.
Yes.
Like Triphala is there. Triphala is also, amla is also one of the ingredients in preparation of Triphala, right?
Trifala, Amla,
Yes.
Karakaya, and
Kanikai.
Kanika. Three is very important for our health.
Yeah. Yes.
What about drinking water?
Yeah.
Moreover, drinking water,
Most
and also in
people,
Ayurveda, oil massage also important in Ayurveda.
Kerala, they are drinking only hot water
yeah.
till today also.
In Ayurveda, Ayurvedic people.
Not in general homes also, they are drinking hot water only.
And most
They
people
have been
know.
practicing that, the habit. From when onwards, we don't know.
Yeah, and most people, they'll be in a false impression that drinking excess water is healthy, and they do not know how to drink, how much to drink, and at what time to drink. So, irregularly, irrespective of the food, they drink too much of water, which will cause dosha imbalance.
Okay.
And drinking hot water, drinking warm water is good for health. That notation is certainly there, but not in all the times. Drinking warm water, drinking water at room temperature, which is at room temperature, is always suggestible. Only when you are suffering from some kapha dosha, we have
Okay.
to raise the temperature of water to some extent and take it,
Exactly.
but not in all the times. People usually they feel like, and such kind of increased temperature water intake of increased high temperature water will cause hormonal imbalance also, which will cause emotional disrupt for some time,
Hmm.
which is practically proven.
Anything else, madam? Mayra, madam?
No. I am also thinking about Ayurveda.
Okay, think and tell.
Okay.
Veda Prakash not joined. Swapna Raju, Ramakrishna not joined. We are only three pupils. Sunita madam is here anyway. So Swapna madam, did you write everything, each and everything, whatever we discussed?
I wrote few points.
That few points we will tell. If anything else, Mayra madam and myself will add some more.
I'll tell few points, so that I will say a few points now, so that if any point is missing, we can discuss. Okay. First of all, if somebody disturbance,
All the
no,
time.
please mute.
So we need
Somebody.
to introduce in the Ayurveda one thing, maintain the diet, physical, mental body practices like yoga and meditation. We need to introduce the kitchen spices and importance of that particular spices related to different health aspects. Wake up
Okay.
early in the morning and sleep early in the night, and chanting the mantras,
Okay.
and eat as I said, seasonal fruits, drinking hot water within time to time, and according to the situation.
Recording in progress.
So you hope you had a minute or two to discuss. I know it's a very short time, and that too you were not able to unmute. But nevertheless, maybe you can just reflect on your own. So here, each child is actually born with a certain composition. Each child is born with a unique constitution determined by the dominance of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, or a combination of these. So knowing a child's Prakriti can help in understanding their learning styles. For example, Vata people could be very creative and quick learners. Pitta students could be very focused and goal oriented. Kapha students are very steady and persistent, very, very stable students. For example, Vata children could show a lot of high energy. When you see children moving here and there without being stable, it means it's a certain Vata Prakriti, right? Pitta children may be very assertive, very intelligent, very assertive, can get very irritated very easily also. And Kapha children may be very, very calm, very stable, but require a lot of extra motivation because you need to push them to do something, right? And health tendencies, Vata may be susceptible to anxieties. Pitta may face a lot of acidic reaction. And Kapha might deal with a lot of weight issues, right? So,
Ma'am, good afternoon.
yes,
Sorry for the interruption.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am, I have a doubt with regard to this Vata dosha and Paityam. What is Paityam in which, under which dosha it comes?
What is the word, ma'am?
Paityam, we will say, no? Is it increased dosha of Vata? What I heard it previously from someone, but I'm not sure for the answer. I have this doubt, and sorry for the interruption.
I am not aware, ma'am. If you can just type it out, I can just.
Madam, in Telugu, Paitya which says it is very much related to Pitta. Pitta dosha. She's asking about Pitta dosha.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So, how do we create some personalized learning strategies? So, Vata dominant students are very creative, energetic. They can imagine a lot, but then they have problems with delivering things. Okay. So, even amongst adults, suppose you form a team, right? There will be people who will give a lot of ideas, but find it difficult to implement. But then their ideas are very important because their thoughts flow very freely. They don't feel restricted. They can just think about anything in the world. Right? So they're highly imaginative and creative, quick learners, but may also forget very quickly because Vata means it is air, right? It's very difficult to grasp. So they can also forget very quickly. Restless, they have very short attention spans and enjoy variety and new experiences, right? So such will be a Vata learner. So every classroom has such a learner. So using interactive and imaginative methods like storytelling, art, hands-on activities to keep them engaged. Frequent breaks may be required because they keep fidgeting things, right? Small manageable tasks break down lessons into bite-sized portions for them so that they can focus easily and incorporate visual aids, auditory material, kinesthetic activities to cater to their need for variety. And you can include mindfulness practices like breathing exercises, which will help them to ground themselves and calm them down so that they are feeling more stable, right? Pitta dominated students are intelligent, focused, very goal oriented, driven, but can also get very agitated, get very stressed out very easily. So, challenging content offer advanced material or complex problems that stimulate their intellect and keep them engaged. Provide a very clear goal, clear structure, organize the material so that they are comfortable, learning. Vata Prakriti, even if you don't organize much, they will easily be happy because they're very creative. They don't like to organize it too much. Debating and analysis, because they're very active, you can give a lot of debates and group discussions and problem solvings. In fact, they can even practically, they can solve problems. Positive reinforcement is needed so that they gain confidence. And cooling practices, which are yogic practices, simple meditation techniques, whichever help them to manage their stress, that is very, very useful. Kapha dosha domination are slow but steady learners. They have a good memory, they retain concepts, naturally calm, but lack motivation. So some pushing might be needed, right? But they always prefer routine. So if you have a lot of kapha oriented learners in your classroom, but you keep changing the pattern, then they find it very difficult to understand. So that is why in the young ages, right, already the dosha that is predominant is kapha dosha. That is also tending to get imbalanced. So when in young age, that is why setting a routine becomes very, very important. Why they say that for children, setting a routine, you have to wake up at this time, come to school at this time, have lunch at this time. This is the time homework. Having a routine helps because that's the predominant dosha at that point in time. You have engaging and stimulating lessons. You can use interactive and engaging methods to counter their tendency and sluggishness. can encourage a lot of participation, motivate them, incentivize their motivation so that they are not passive listeners, or keep repeating the concept so that they feel more participative, right? Reinforce concept through repetition to leverage their strong memory and learning style. Physical movement include physical activities such as role playing, outdoor lessons to energize and activate their mind, and motivational techniques achieve set milestones so that even if they do a little bit, give them some motivation, because you need to push them. Kapha students, you need to push them to pay attention, deliver things, focus on the outcomes, achieve a lot of things, right? That will build their commitment and enthusiasm. So general strategies provide a mix of dynamic, structured, and calming places so that all dosha types are included. Adapt the teaching pace, quick learner, engaging lessons. Pitta students, balanced pace with depth. Kapha students need more time. Incorporate movement. Movement benefits all the doshas. So basically, include a lot of activities in your class. Today's last topic is yoga. Ashtanga yoga, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Yama leads to is personal kind of values. You have satya, ahimsa, and all that. No, not to tell lies, not to be harmful, qualities. Niyama are some disciplines that one needs to follow. Breathing. Pratyahara is the withdrawal of senses. Dharana is single point focus. Dhyana is meditation. And samadhi is complete absorption. So this is what we call Ashtanga Yoga. In Yoga Sutra, it is mentioned Ashtanga, 8 dimensions of yoga. Okay. These are 8 dimensions of yoga. Okay. What are the benefits of yoga? It provides muscular flexibility. It provides enhanced function of the organs, enhances lung capacity. It restores emotional balance. It brings in cognitive balance. A lot of neuroscientific benefits of yoga have been very well studied. It balances the sympathetic and parasympathetic system, and it brings peace and harmony. So at the physical level, at the emotional level, at the cognitive level, and at the spiritual level, yoga brings in a lot of benefits. So when we say Panchakoshiya development, yoga alone can ensure, just if you take yoga as a pathway, it can ensure that all these dimensions are benefited. So incorporating yogic practices on a daily basis into your classroom becomes a very crucial step. So here we will spend the next 3-4 minutes understanding stress, right? Okay, this is a very important in the student context. So stress can be looked at as physical, emotional strain that could be triggered by an external or internal event. The mind-body connect is evident when one looks deeper into stress. A stressed out body impacts the mind, a stressed out mind impacts the body. So they are both very, very connected to each other, right? Though there are measurable biochemical parameters within the body, each experiences them in a different way. Each experiences stress in a different way. Changes in the external and internal environment impacts this biochemical process, and then that is how we respond to various situations. So what is the mechanism of stress? The initial stages of stress, it was called as general adaptation syndrome because it led to a lot of hormonal changes. But our body has sympathetic and parasympathetic system, right? They help to keep the body in balance. So whenever you face a stressful situation, right, the sympathetic nervous system kicks in. That is why we have flight, fight, or freeze response. So either we can fight the threat, or we can run away from the threat, or we freeze in fear, right? So this is the response of the sympathetic nervous system. But once the threat is gone, the body comes back to its normalcy because of the parasympathetic nervous system. But if the parasympathetic system is not able to kick in, there is a constant stress that is given to the system. Then what happens is that we experience a chronic stress, right? So this thing, what happens is if the parasympathetic system is not able to restore it to normalcy, we have chronic stress. So imagine that you are stressed out mentally. For many days that the stress does not leave your mind. It could be a deadline or conflict with someone or a relationship issue. It stays for days together. So during such times, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis kicks in, right? And creates such that the cortisol is secreted into the bloodstream. So that is why people who are stressed out, they check their cortisol levels. Because of this, the immune system is affected, and this leads to bad health, or this leads to diseases. Especially, it leads to immunity related issues. This is the drawing. So there is an acute stress that you experience. It is processed by the hypothalamus. Then the hypothalamus, there is a neurotransmitter, that is the hormone that is secreted. It is called corticotropin releasing hormone. That hormone is passed on to the pituitary gland, which is again in the brain region, right? And the pituitary gland, the CRH provokes the pituitary gland to secrete the ACTH. Then ACTH goes to the adrenal gland, right? And what happens that many neurotransmitters and hormones are secreted, which is adrenaline. That's why we have an adrenal rush. Whenever we see something threat perception, there is an adrenal rush in the system, right? And then what happens that the cortisol is secreted into the bloodstream. So adrenal, cortisol, everything is secreted into the bloodstream. So ideally, it should bring down the stress levels. But if it does not bring down the stress levels, it can lead to chronic stress, right? So what happens with respect to children? The moment you talk negative things, right? Immediately there is a threat perception, and then the sympathetic nervous system kicks in. That stays for a very, very long time. So giving only positive words to young children is a very crucial aspect of the developmental process. Whether you are a parent or whether you are a teacher, only positive things when you talk to the child, then you will see that you don't worry. You will say, oh, if I talk only positive things, my child will be spoiled. I should give an objective feedback. Nothing of that sort. You can give even an objective feedback or a feedback about something they did wrong in a very sweet manner, in a manner that is acceptable to that age, so that there is something called positive emotional attractors and negative emotional attractors. So when you tell something negative, it immediately kicks the sympathetic system. So it is a negative emotional attractor. When you say something positive, it's a parasympathetic system. It's a positive emotional attractor. So always, even if you could be the head of the department, you could be the coordinator. But when you create stress in others, this is what happens. It can actually lead to a lot of problems in the system. So always be very mindful of how you interact with others, what kind of interpersonal relationship you have with others. The very important neurotransmitter is called GABA. So, for example, this one way of increasing GABA is through regular exercise. So, high availability of GABA means it's very healthy, right? And which has been shown to whatever increases GABA levels reduce stress. Right? So, foods that are rich in GABA, such as almonds, walnuts, spinach, and taking GABA supplements, green tea, all these increase GABA levels and reduce the stress levels. Lifestyle can also reduce increase GABA levels. Practicing relaxation techniques, yoga nidra, meditation, all these are actually enhancing GABA. And hormonal process cycle has several stages such as biosynthesis, secretion of source gland, transport, recognition by the target gland, and all these happen, right? But then since the system is slow in acting, it requires constant repeating input from one's side. So when you have neurotransmitters and hormones, neurotransmitters like GABA act very quickly. But when it is a hormone, it takes a long time to act in the system. That is why you need repeated practice of yogasana, pranayama, meditation to have a positive feel and overall maintain your health in a good condition. So that this is the very important impact of yoga on the brain, impact of yoga on the emotions, and impact of yoga on the body. That is one of the reasons why yogic pedagogy is a very, very crucial transformation that needs to be brought out in the curriculum, in the schedule, in the co-curricular activities, and overall looking at the holistic development of the child. So we'll stop here. If there are any points to discuss or anything to say, I will just conclude with a prayer. Om Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Namaste. It is Pitta, ma'am.
Kindly explain types of vayus and control them, please.
the type of vayus are pancha prana, prana, udana, samana, vyana, and one more prana, apana vayu. So the prana vayu is mainly whatever we intake helps in respiration. The apana vayu is working downwards, it helps in excretion and the reproductive functions. The samana vayu helps in digestion. Okay? And vyana vayu helps in circulation. And the udana vayu helps in the upward processes like speech, memory, thinking, and all that. So when we do activities accordingly, pranayama practices, then it ensures that all these functions of speaking, digestion, excretion, and movement and circulation, all these happen in a proper manner. Yeah, yeah. Yes, ma'am. Correct. So here there is Krura Koshta, Mridu Koshta, and there is one more Samanya or Madhyama Koshta. So here when the stools are hard, it means it is this Vata is high. And when it is like a loose motion or very soft, then it is Pitta high. When it is Kapha, it is somewhat balanced. One is gas buildup and other one is dryness. Vata means it is dry. Yeah, correct. Because it helps the lubrication happen. The peristalsis movement is what ensures that the waste is eliminated. So when the peristalsis movement is not happening properly, then the waste is not eliminated. So that is why for some people, if you see only if they drink tea, they'll be able to evacuate, clear their bowels. Or if they drink coffee only, they will be able to evacuate. So that is mainly because the peristalsis motion is enabled by pitta. So anything hot and high in pitta ensures that peristalsis movement and then the waste is eliminated. One other thing they do is they have triphala churnam in the night. That also ensures the elimination of waste. Correct. Yes. Yeah. Correct. There'll be two things. For generally, for Vata Prakriti person, the stool will be very hard. But there will be other Prakriti people, because of an external condition, their stools might have become hard. So they will have to take an appropriate medicine or perform some activity or an exercise. For example, there are yogic practices which will ensure that even if the stools are hard, you can eventually. Genetic means in Prakriti comes, by birth. So there will be people who are Vata Prakriti who will, in general, find it difficult. Yeah, seasonal. Seasonal. Dry winters, especially, it will be seasonal. Ashtanga Hridaya, the Sutra Sthana of Ashtanga Hridayam text written by Vagbhatta, the first 1,000 verses give a lot of information about Ayurveda. So if you get a book on Ashtanga Hridayam, or I can point to a blog post that is there. If you read the first 30 on odd chapters, you will get a very good overview of Ayurveda. I've pasted the link in the chat box. It is Ashtanga ahsutrasthana.blogspot.com. Sutrasthana, Sutrasthana. ahsutrasthana.blogspot.com. Ashtanga Hridaya Sutrasthana.
Yeah. Uh, can I, excuse me, madam?
Yes.
Actually, whatever definition given by you, madam, about these indigenous definition on health, samadhatu, samagnischa, it's very important, madam. Actually,
Correct.
the relationship with social sciences nowadays, we may studying the social sciences, madam, but we may not understanding about the fundamental aspects of good health. Even
Correct.
teachers don't know, parents don't know, students don't know. We are focusing on various aspects, other aspects, but fundamentals missing. If
And
the
we say
if
one
we
shoe
know,
fits all. One
yes,
shoe fits all model. Yes, sir. Kishore, sir,
so
please
what I
continue.
want to tell you, madam, actually, nowadays, whatever we are perceiving, majority of diseases, I saw that recently, my closest friend suffering with cancer and the chronic aspects. It is because of that. What is this? Not focusing on fundamentals. Fundamentals that causes chronic aspects.
Yes. Yes.
When I studied this problem of cancer, the root, the dhatu shakti is losing.
Correct.
So really, what I want to tell you, madam, actually, the teachers and parents, we must focus the fundamental aspects of health. If you know
Yes.
that vata, pitta, kapha, and if you know the nature of the child, if you know the certain things, then we can provide nature of the, according to nature of the child, we can provide the environment, food habits, and many things, and we can focus the preventive aspect of health, and we can solve
Very true,
many
sir.
kind of problems.
Very
So
true,
it's
sir.
very much related to social science, which is very much applicable with our life. That is very important. I think these knowledge is missing in the subjects in our
Yes.
curriculum.
And zero introduction is there, sir. Not even a tinge of that is, they have ensured that none of this is, available in any of our curriculum, unfortunately. But this
Yes,
is so crucial. Being born in India, living in India, but we don't know our own knowledge system, how to utilize it for the benefit of the learners.
yes, madam. Yes, madam.
And what happens is that, for example, in the Sapta Dhatu, the way Ayurveda looks, of course, there is a disagreement with respect to modern physiology and anatomy. But leaving that part, the Vaidya still, bases their understanding and treatment through this. So they say that each of the dhatus contribute to the other dhatus. So the food that we eat, the Rasa Dhatu, eventually becomes the Shukra Dhatu, which is the reproductive essence. So what happens? The food that we eat affect so many generations because they are now we reproduce more generations. So the rasadhatu that we imbibe goes into our system and then is given to the other generations as shukradhatu. So the very very careful attention to the food that we eat is very very important.
Yes, madam.
All this is not part of the curriculum. Children are not told by, there is no mention in any textbook that don't eat junk food. They're all afraid. If you tell the children, then they will lose their agency. They will lose their ability to think on their own. But at the childhood stage, they need to be told, don't eat this, right? That is what our grandmothers did. And thankfully, they prevented us from so many things. But in today's context, parents are afraid to tell the children, educators are afraid to tell the children, okay, do this. Otherwise, they feel that the children should figure out everything on their own. That is not the best method, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yes, madam. You are correct, madam. Actually, that's why our sages said Annam Brahma. We given a sacred state for
Correct.
these Anna. Nowadays, even the hygiene aspects also we don't know.
Correct.
What is this various kinds of food and the importance of taking right food.
Yes.
These things actually the basics we don't know. That's the biggest problem. Yes, I agree, madam. That must be part in curriculum. Teachers
Correct.
must know.
Correct. Correct.
Teachers must know that. Parents must know that.
Yes.
So, and the proverb says, "Yada annam tada mannam."
Correct. Correct.
And there is no proper annam, and that's why there is a psychological problems.
Yes. the food and the endocrine system is directly related to the emotional states. So whatever we do, whatever harms the endocrine system, immediately affects the mental state also. So there's so much that we can look at through Ayurveda and yoga and all these things. It can go on for a full semester actually.
Mhm. Yeah. Any more questions, please respond. Yeah, Swapna madam, unmute.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, what about can activation of chakras? Can we expect any class in the further classes about activation of chakras? What are chakras? And
Chakras are a very deep concept, but maybe in the next session I will touch a little bit about chakras.
thank you, ma'am. Truly, actually, I'm truly with the zero knowledge regarding that. I just heard it, but I'm interested to know about that. So that's why I'm asking.
We will go into the description of the chakras and qualities, but the activation, of course, we will not look into that.
Yeah, okay. Activation, yeah, maybe it's a truly depth concept. Just I would like to know what is the concept behind that. That's all. Not truly necessary, I think so, in this particular subject. But just I would like to know what are actually chakras,
Yeah.
and in what way it is connected to this yoga. That superficially, I would like to know.
Correct. Sure. Sure.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir.
Participant mostly all the topics which are kept in the online workshop, day-wise topics that is very much focusing on B.Ed curriculum, IKS paper, as well as M.Ed curriculum, IKS paper. Just go through that and all the things are covered. Okay. And I request to all the participants, kindly motivate all your friends, specifically teacher educators, and please motivate your students to join in the Zoom session as well as YouTube session. You please utilize the good resource lectures, and it's a time to clarify the all the aspects of these related to IKS. Till now, we may feel that there is no guidance and clarity on IKS, and our Department of Education is providing such a good opportunity to clarify our IKS. That must be utilized. We have more 3 days. These 3 days will be highly useful and most useful for subject point of view and B.Ed point of view as well as personal point of view. All the point of view, it's useful. Please utilize. Please motivate your teacher educators. Please motivate your students to join. And we purchased a 500 these platform, and there is a full of scope. I request everyone, irrespective of rigid aspects, remove it and motivate all the students and teachers to join and interact and clarify, and that can be useful for benefit of the all the students and our individual sake. And I express special thanks to department, our principal, what I say is Ravinath Murthy sir, Professor Ravinath Murthy sir, as well as our madam, Sunita madam, Lalita madam, and Durgesham sir, Sujata madam, everyone. It's a nice session. Actually, highly intellectual presentations are we are enjoying. Please utilize. Madam, please continue.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Not a problem. I will try because I don't have expertise in all of those areas. Yeah. Yeah. I can from my side, it might be difficult, but we can discuss that. Yes, yes.
Sir, kindly unmute. Sir, kindly unmute. Yeah.
Hello. Namaste to the resource person. Delegates who are participating from their respective colleges. Madam, I express my sincere thanks to you to that enlighten that your very important aspects of nowadays, that is Shaddarsanas, which resembles that entire that personality and also uh, that spirit of that Paramatma. And at the same time, this is the need of the hour to get that medicines of nowadays that with through this Indian medicine system like Ayurvedic system, and also nowadays irrespective of that age and that professions, everybody is utilizing the services of yoga. Nowadays it is the need of the hour. Recently during this pandemic situations, everybody associated with all these Ayurvedic and yoga and Indian philosophy also. So today, rightly, you through your wonderful insights across all the colleges, madam, it is not exaggeration that all the colleges they opened this online session for their students along with their faculty members. They are sit together and they have been taking the notes and inputs from you. Really, it's very wonderful. On behalf of this, all the students and faculty members of that jurisdiction of this Osmania University and also Department of Education, and on behalf of principal and coordinators of this program, we are expressing our sincere thanks and namaskars from our bottom of heart to you, madam. And we are expecting the same kind of and also double inspiration programs like this, madam. Thank you so much. And we are handing up. Namaste. Namaskar to everybody. Namaste. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Recording stopped.